Hey guys, I'm Gamer Mate, welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a variant story game part 2. So, over here, you can see I'm in the main game now. And if you don't know how to go inside the main game, click View, then Asset Manager, then Places, then double click on your main game. Also, you can see I have this map down here, which I built before recording. So all it is a folder named Maps. Inside of it we have one for a campsite, and all it is just like the decoration and the buildings and trees. So I built these trees inside Blender, and also built this cabin. Also there's some like rocks for decoration and grass, although I didn't make the grass or rocks, so credit to the original creator. Anyway, you can see we have a path going over to this like little picnic area. Then over here, another path leading to a cave, which later on we'll add into a story. But in this episode, we're going to make an NPC, some dialogue. So to do that, let's first make an NPC. So click Plugins, then Build Rig. You can add in any of these. I'm going to be using an R15 block rig. Here we go. Then in the workspace, click the workspace, click plus, add in a folder, then name it to NPC. Inside this folder, add in another folder, then name it to Models. Then we'll drag the dummy inside the Models folder, like this. Now we can just customize our dummy and also rename it. You can name yours to whatever you want. Okay, so here's my NPC. I've just named it Mate for now. Then I also just customized him, like giving him some new clothes. Then I also added in this Animate Script. Then I selected all of his body parts, like this. Then went to Properties, scroll down, then make sure all of them are unanchored. So make sure anchored is unticked. So now that we have our NPC, we can start working on some dialogue. And to do that, first we need a GUI. So I go to Starter GUI, add in a Screen GUI. Then we can name it to Dialogue GUI, like that. And inside of that, we can add in a frame. Then we can change the anchor point to 0.5, 0.5. Then change the position to 0.5, 0, 0.85, 0. Then go down to size. If you change the size constraint to XX, then if you change the size of a frame to 0.35, 0, 0.12 or 0.12, and then 0. Then I'm just going to change the background, so the background colour to something like a black colour. Then the background transparency to 0.05. Also, just to make it look better, I'm going to click Frame, then add in a UI corner. You can see this gives it like a round corner. There we go. Then in Frame, if we add in an image label, so image label, then change the size to 0.3, 0, 1, 0. And this is going to be for the player image. Also, if you scroll down to the image, if you change scale type from stretch to crop, what this will do is make the image fit in rather than stretch it. Once we've got that, select frame, then add in a text label. And this is going to be for the player's name. So if you name this to name label, then change the position to 0.3, 0, 0.05, 0. Then change the size to 0.7, 0, 0.2, 0. Then if you change background transparency to 1, then change the text, so text is scaled. Then change the text colour to white. Then you can make this say whatever you want. I'm just going to make mine say name, like this. Also, I forgot to do something in the image label. So select the image label, then make sure background transparency is set to 1. And also, I'm just going to make a image just to put in here. There we go, I just made a quick image of the NPC. Last thing we need to do is add in a text label inside a frame. Then change the size to 0.6, 0, 0.6, 0. Then change the position to 0.35, 0, 0.3, 0. Then change the background transparency to 1. Once again, we've customized the text, so make sure text is scaled. Then change the text colour and font. There we go, I just customized the text. Then, if we name this to dialogue label, so name it to dialogue label. Then, if we select frame, go to properties, then make sure visible is unticked, like this. Then, click replicate storage, add in a folder, then name this to remote events. Then we'll add in another folder, then name it to GUI events, add in another one, so another folder, and then name it toggle events. Inside of toggle events, add in a remote event, then name this to toggle dialogue event. Then in the GUI events, add in a remote event, then name it to dialogue event, like this. Once we've done that, we can go to the dialogue GUI. Inside the GUI, not in the frame, so inside the GUI, add in a local script. Then name this local script to toggle script. Inside of it, we can make a variable for the remote event. So local toggle dialogue event equals the game dot replicate storage dot remote events dot toggle events, then dot toggle dialogue event, like this. Then, once the remote event has been fired to a client, then we will check if the toggle is either true or false, and if it's true, then we'll set it to visible, and if it's false, then we'll set it to invisible. So if we do toggle dialogue event dot on client event colon connect, 2 brackets, then function, then 2 more brackets, then type in toggle, then remove one of the brackets, and then go down, then type in if toggle equals to true, then script.parent.frame.visible equals to true, else if toggle equals to false, then script.parent.frame.visible equals to false, like this. So what we're doing is we're getting a variable for a remote event. Then in the main script, we'll be firing this to all clients. This is going to be a true or false value. So if it's true, then I'll make it visible, so frame visible. And if it's false, then I'll make the frame invisible. So close off that script. And before we make the main script, we need to actually make an animate script. So we'll animate the text, and also display the text once the remote event has been fired. So to do that, in Starter GUI, add in a folder and name it to scripts. Then if we add in a local script, then name it to dialog script. Then in the script we can make a variable for the local player. So local player equals game dot players dot local player. Then we'll make a variable for a remote event and the frame. So local dialog event equals game dot replicate storage dot remote events dot GUI events dot dialog event. Then go down, and now if we make a variable for a frame, so type in local frame equals to player dot player GUI colon wait for child bracket speech marks, then dialog GUI, that's our brackets, type in dot frame. Then we're going to make a function to actually run the text and animate it. So to do that, type in local function, then animate text, two brackets, then dialog, then go down, then type in for I, not do, type in for I equals to 1, comma, hashtag dialog, then comma 1, then do, then frame, colon wait for child, bracket speech marks, then dialog, label, that's our brackets, type in dot text, equals to string dot sub, brackets, then dialog, comma 1, comma I, then go down, add in a wait, then we'll wait about 0.04 seconds. So this is a function, and then dialog, so this dialog is going to be what the actual dialog says. Then we're animating it each letter. This way is how fast it animates each letter. If you type in dialog event dot on client event colon connect, two brackets, function, two more brackets, then remove one, then type in player image, comma player name, then comma dialog. So we'll be using player image to get the player's image, then the player's name to display the player's name, then the dialog for the actual dialog text, which we'll be using in the main script. So if you type in frame dot visible equals to true, then frame colon wait for child bracket speech marks, then name label dot text equals to player name, then frame colon wait for child bracket speech marks, then image label dot image equals to player image. Then we use the function, so animate text, two brackets, and then dialog like this. So once the remote event has been fired to a client, then we're going to get the player's image, the player's name, and the actual dialog text. Then once it's been fired to all clients, we're going to make the frame visible. Then we're going to set the name label, so text of name, to display the player's name. Then the frame's image label to the player's image. Then we're going to animate the text, so dialog, using the function. So close off that script. Then insert the script service, add in a folder, then name it to scripts. Inside of it, add in a script, then name the script to main script. Then in the script, I'm just going to make a comment to say variables. Then if we make a variable for dialog event. So local dialog event equals game dot replicate storage dot remote events. Why can't I spell? Dot GUI events dot dialog event. Then I'm going to go down and then make a variable for the toggle dialog event. So local toggle dialog event then equals game dot replicate storage dot remote events. Then this time dot toggle events dot toggle dialog event. Once you've done that, I'm actually going to make a variable for the NPC. So I'm going to make another comment. Then we can name this to NPC settings. So instead of having to type out the same NPC name or image, we could just use a variable to make it easier. So if we make a variable for the local NPC model, so local NPC model equals game dot workspace dot NPC dot models, and then the name of your NPC, so dot mate, then local NPC image equals to speech marks, and then RBX asset ID colon 2 forward slashes, and then your image ID number, like this. Then if you make a variable for the NPC name, so NPC name equals to NPC model dot name. Then if you go down, then I'm going to make another comment. So this is going to be for random player. So local player image, then we'll define that in a minute. Then local player name. Then let's make a function to get the random player. So local function random player, then 2 brackets. I'll scroll down a bit. Then let's make a variable for the actual players. So local players equals game dot players colon get players 2 brackets. Go down. Then we'll make a variable for a math.random, so like a random player. I will name this to local player num for player number equals to math.random brackets then 1 hashtag players. So this is going to pick a random player, so it's going to pick 1 random player out of the players in the game. Then we'll make one more variable for the chosen player, so local chosen player equals to players square bracket then player num, and this is actually like the actual player that's been chosen, if that makes sense. So if we go down, then we're going to set the player image to a player's avatar. So if we do player image equals to game dot players colon get user thumbnail async 2 brackets. Then we're going to get the chosen player's user ID. So chosen player dot user ID comma enum dot thumbnail type. Then we have 3 options. We have an avatar bust, an avatar thumbnail, and then a headshot. You can pick any of these, you can see which one fits your game best. But for this, I'm going to be using an avatar bust. Then do comma, enum, dot thumbnail, size, dot size, and then the biggest one we can go to is 420 x 420. So that's the biggest thumbnail we can have. Then if we go down, then type in player name equals to chosen player dot name. That's going to be for this random player function. Then I'm going to be separating each like part of the game into separate sections. For example, like one objective could be in one function, so it makes it easier to test your game without having to test the entire story. Then once again, I'll make another comment just saying game functions. Then we'll make a local function. I spelled local wrong, so local. So local function, part 1, 2 brackets. I'll try to keep each part short. I'm also going to add in a comment next to it, saying which each function is. So for example, this one could be look around a campsite. Just so we know which objectives are in each function. And to test it out, just to see the dialogue if it works, we can fire the remote event. So first off, if you want an NPC to speak, then just type in dialogue event fire all clients. And fire all clients means that all the players will see it. Then do 2 brackets. Then make sure you do this in the right order, otherwise it won't work. So make sure you do NPC image first, then comma, then NPC name, then the dialogue, so speech marks, and this is what you want him to say. So I'm just going to quickly write out some dialogue. Okay, so he'll say, hello everyone, my name is. Then we're going to like add in his name. So we're connecting this text onto this variable, which is his name. Then if we add in a wait, 2 brackets, then 4 seconds. And then to make a random play speak, if we use that function, so random player, 2 brackets. Then it's kind of the same thing, so dialogue event, fire all clients, 2 brackets, then this time player image, comma player name, then comma, then the text. There we go. So first the NPC will say, hello, my name is Mate. Then the random player will say, nice to meet you. And then they'll say their name. And right now this should work, but we don't actually fire the function. So to do that, if we go down, then I'm going to be using a wait 10. Now this wait 10 is how long it takes before the game actually starts, so all the players can load in. Then we'll use the part 1 function. So part 1, brackets. Then I'm going to be making a comment again. So look around campsite. This just makes it easy to know which part is which. So that should be everything if we click play. So you can see that it had his image, and then his name, and then the text. Then it goes over to me, it has my image, my name, and then my text. And it also animated. But I think that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to give a like, comment and subscribe down below. In the description, you can check out my ROBLOX group and Discord server. And I'll see you later. Bye!